Panama, team marker 1. Big clap.
All right, take it away.
I thought you said you were going to ask me some questions.
Oh, I thought you said you had it all.
Oh, no. Otherwise, I'll just say what I was going to say. But if you had some questions. First of all, I'll say is thank you very much for sending us to Panama. This type of mission was really about relationships. And what I learned was that the relationship that we're building is not only with the Panamanian people, but we're also building it with ourselves and the Lord. And learning how big God is, or being reintroduced on how big God is to me by seeing what happens in Panama. People being saved, people practicing the same kind of things we're doing here on a daily basis is just amazing.
You've been to Panama now 5 years.
7 times.
What?
Número 7.
Okay, 7 times. Why was this trip different?
I did more manual labor on this trip than I did in all other 6 trips combined. My muscles cramped more in this trip than I've ever cramped before. We did a lot of manual labor in Moises' house, from concrete work to hanging insulation to busting up tile and flooring, and anything else that they asked for we were willing to do. And it was interesting to see how much work was being done in his house already in 1 week. It would basically be like our equivalent to saying, like, we took a house down to the studs. There's like nothing left, and are building it back up. And all because ultimately we raised money that we were able to support this. We were able to bring down $11,000 to fund the whole thing, which will take more than a month to do, and which would easily cost anybody around here well into the 6 figures to do this tiny home. So it is an absolute blessing to be able to support Moises and ultimately his wife.
I was blessed to have my prayer answered in asking to be a part of the labor team. The Panamanians have a cultural, I don't know if you'd call it a rule, where women don't necessarily get to be a part of that labor work. And I felt from the beginning, when we learned we were going to be going there to help with this project, that I could really be a part of that and help in that way. So I had been praying to be a part of that team, and I got to pour cement, build foundations for cement to go into at last minute, and move lots of dirt and be a part of that team. And that was a pretty cool experience to do.
It was really good working with the local Panamanians on being more just kind of like their helper. I didn't have to run the project, didn't have to have very many ideas. I just had to work hard and do well.
The team was absolutely unbelievable. First of all, if you don't know, Andrew does talk. Turns out he's like closetly funny and has social skills. So I learned that because I was like praying. I'm like, God, this is the team that we're sending? Like, I love that God is so big. Like, he can do anything, and he showed that through our team.
Andrew, do you want to go next?
Sure, I got some things to say.
Weird.
This has been a week in the making. I think I saw God work in a lot of ways, just helping the trip go smoothly. I think there were a lot of reasons we saw why the trip shouldn't have gone as smoothly as it did, especially in terms of the work we did on the house. In our group, we don't really have a lot of people who have a lot of construction experience, but they were able to find tons of work for us to do that we were able to handle really well. We had 2 languages being spoken and not a lot of overlap between all of us, but between the translators and just piecing things together one-on-one, it barely even turned out to be an obstacle. We were there in Panama in the middle of the rainy season, so it could have easily been pouring rain the entire time we were there, but it wasn't. God held off the rain for all of the time that we were working, pouring concrete, working inside the house. The weather really cooperated with us, and yeah, I think I saw a lot of blessings that way.
So I didn't do any of the hard work like the guys did, but I did help a lot with the kids. We played soccer with them. I did VBS. I got to sing at church on Sunday, singing in Spanish and English, which kind of broke my brain a little bit, but we made it through. I was a little bit stressed out during like the planning part of it, but just getting out of my own head and say, God, this is for your glory. This is not even about me. This is to advance your kingdom. And Sunday was just absolutely incredible.
There's Brianna strumming a guitar with a Panamanian girl singing the song Gratitude. And it was just pouring out completely in Spanish. Now, mind you, I know a little bit of Spanish and I know the song in English, but hearing it in a different language and just at this place of reflectiveness and just sitting there in awe of who God is and what he has to offer struck a whole different chord with me. I was in tears during their practice, and then Sunday came and they did a Spanish versus English mix of all their worship. And it was so remarkable because you got to see Brianna and Ray worshiping God in both English and in Spanish, and you got to see these two Panamanian girls pouring out their hearts with everything that they have in Spanish.
That Sunday, whenever church was over, we were just kind of hanging out in the church, and Ray, Marcy, and I, and these two other girls, we were just dancing and kind of playing like the copying game where this little girl would do something and then we would follow suit. And then praise, alaba, praise in Spanish came on, and we were just jumping around for joy. I felt the presence of God in that moment, and I just kind of felt his Holy Spirit say, like, this is what the kingdom is going to be like. With every tribe, every nation, every tongue in one accord singing for his glory. And, oh gosh, I'm getting emotional about it. It was a really cool experience. And I'm very grateful for it. And yeah, seeing those kids sing "Alaba Dios, Alaba Dios," and it was a really good experience. I'm very grateful I got to be part of that.
There's nothing God can't do. He broke through the language barrier for me. That was one of my fears when I'm going into that trip was like, God, how can you possibly use me when I don't even speak their language? And he did. He literally broke it down for me to understand. There was people willing to teach me and take the time and practice their English on me and my Spanish on them.
We also got to go to the Emperor Village, one of our first days there, which I was really excited to go back to this year because I loved how peaceful and just how beautiful everything was surrounding the Emperor Village on my last trip there. And this year we actually got to do something really cool, and we got to deliver, you know, all those kids that you donate for Global Fingerprints. We got to like bring their meals to them, or like a portion of their food to them on that trip that we went. So we organized and sorted food out by family, and then we got to give it to them. And that was so cool just to watch the families just be so joyful and so just full of gratitude to be receiving that food. So that was really, really cool.
It's easy to have this mindset of like you have to have a lot to give a lot, but when we were down there, like we interacted with a lot of people that comparatively have a lot less than us, but then you meet them and they're some of the warmest, most hospitable and freely giving people that you'll ever meet. So it's humbling that way that we have so much more, and then once you go there, you kind of have your eyes open to how much more work God can do through you if you just kind of open up your heart to that.
The Panamanians themselves told us that we're an encouragement to them, that they get to see how big God really is, us coming over there to do the things that we did. One of the things that struck me was Panamanians will work for money. We came and worked for nothing. And that showed them God's love, and that was really important.
What about the idea of leaving the guitar and strings and picks and stuff like that?
Oh gosh, that was incredible. Like that really blessed my heart, just knowing that it blessed them. And also, before we gave them the guitar, I saw 3 other guitars in the corner that barely had any strings on them. Some of them were broken off, and they were just in poor condition, but just gifting them that guitar so they are able to use it for God's kingdom. Knowing that Aaron is going to use it is just so cool. I loved it.
I did a lot with the kids in Panama. I played soccer with the kids while everybody was working on the house. I got to dance and sing and just learn what God is doing in Panama through the kids, and just the joy and the beauty that is there in their hearts that they're willing to share with anybody.
Our God is so big, and being a part of this mission trip for 2 years in a row just completely ignites that fire inside of me of how big He is. So I'm blessed to have that.
I was able to survive 9 days in a 15-passenger van with Ray, which is the biggest miracle that I saw on this entire trip. That I managed to keep my sanity, and both myself and Ray made it back to Wisconsin alive. It blows my mind more than anything else I saw. When you're in a 15-passenger van on the highway, there's nowhere to go. You're in a metal box, you're stuck there.
Moises' comment on the last day was, my house before this was like somebody without Jesus. He said, it's fine. I don't need anything else. It gets the job done kind of thing. I'm good. He said, and now it's like my house has Jesus. It's so much better. Like I didn't realize before how good this can be. And so it was a really sweet illustration that he shared with us, and his great heart of gratitude for not only the team, but all of those. He understands that there's a big sending church. When a team goes, it's not the team, it's all those who are sending behind. There's goers and senders in missions. And so he asked us to pass on his appreciation to Faith Church.